1047, the developers of Splitgate 2 recently revealed they had to lay off a significant group of people on their team. And it's been a very interesting few weeks for Splitgate since the recent announcement of the Battle Royale. And also at Summer Game Fest with the CEO Ian wearing the Make FPS Great Again hat, which, I mean, I wasn't too upset about it, but I think it ruffled enough feathers out there, leading to Ian himself to make an apology video that got over 2 million views here on Twitter to say like, hey, sorry for the hat. Didn't really mean to be like divisive or anything, which, I mean, I didn't really care much for it. I can understand how it could ruffle some feathers with how tense things are in the situation out there. Personally, I was much more upset about the $80 bundle, which apparently said it slipped through the cracks when it came to the pricing of the whole thing, which they did come back and actually lower the price down to a reasonable number, but still, like, the fact that it was just $80 in the first place, that's even conceivable for the charge for a microtransaction. That's not a microtransaction, that's a macro transaction at that point. And then you had the Twitter scandal, I guess you want to call it, where just basically whoever was a social media manager over there, which is going wild on Twitter, replying to an Infinity Ward artist who actually tweeted out saying, make FPS great again, and it's Splitgate. Then the Twitter replied back with, which Call of Duty does your team make again? I can't tell them apart. Where even someone had to like kind of come in just so like, I don't even like COD that much anymore, but this isn't how the way like to own the thing, I think, in the way, you know. And he just says, talk shit, expect shit, come back your way, I can handle it. It's like, dude, why are we being so like aggro about this whole thing, you know? So with this recent layoff news, I'm just like, man, like, can this team catch a break? I mean, Splitgate 2 is pretty fun. I want to see it do well. But they recently came out here on LinkedIn to post a description about like what happened today when it comes to the layoffs, saying, today we parted ways with a small group of valued 1047 game team members. We're still perfecting the Splitgate 2 gameplay experience in response to community feedback, and we are redirecting resources to build the best game for our players. We are sad to see our teammates go, and we are actively working to help them secure new opportunities, have opted to not take salaries as we lock in to deliver the next phase of the project. Thank you to those who've built alongside us. We are sad to say goodbye and would not be here without you. To everyone who's playing Splitgate 2, we're continuing to work hard to deliver more things we know you'll love. We are committed to building this game for the long haul. I mean, looking at this in any way possible, having to let people go, it's never a good sign. And especially on top of that, when like the co-founders are not even taking a salary. I mean, I understand like, you know, hey, the lead of the ship sometimes has to do that. It just doesn't really sound very reassuring when like you have people working for free, essentially. Which, if you're curious what these priorities are, they did mention it here on Twitter, saying the first priority is fixing bugs, preventing users from progressing weekly and daily challenges. I haven't had any issues like that, or at least I haven't noticed it. Shortening battle royale load times, definitely agree with that one. I haven't wait like a minute and a half just before the match actually starts. It's like to pick a class, it's like, come on, we don't need to wait that long. Ranked Arena is coming in for rank number 3, mastery challenges, and also performance improvements across the board, which, I mean, I think the game runs pretty fine for me, but hey, I run with a 3080 graphics card, so there's that. But even then, for a modern game running on Unreal Engine, it runs pretty well, which all of those sound like rather significant parts of the game to have to let people go. I'm just kind of curious, who did you let go involved in that situation? Probably maybe even some of the people involved with the Forge side of things of Splitgate 2. I mean, we don't really get any kind of details when it comes to that stuff, but it's just never a good sign you see from a game when they actually have to downsize in some kind of capacity. And then, like I said, with the co-founders not taking a paycheck, which is kind of like, you would think they would be the ones who are probably the most motivated to get a paycheck. But I mean, like it gets me just concerned a little bit, which is kind of odd though, because it's not like Splitgate 2 has been failing in popularity in any way, really. I mean, they shared information here saying our player base has more than tripled since the beta. This is back when the launch of the Battle Royale happened, and even mentioned the ton of recent success on console, which was like the big source of like the initial push back in when the game had the first big hit of players, was because all the Warzone kids got super upset with Warzone on console and then moved over to Splitgate. So Splitgate never really had like that solid of a PC player base. So when I see people point out the Steam numbers saying like right here with a peak 25,000 player count back when the alpha, or I guess the Battle Royale launch actually happened, people go like, oh, the game's failing, everything's awful, right? Well, Not exactly. Because if you look at Xbox's most played games here, this is just, I'm not sure exactly how they measure it. My assumption is probably like time played rather than peak population count, which definitely makes a big difference, right? But just looking at this right here, you can see you got top 4, 8, 12, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21. So it's right behind Apex Legends and above Elden Ring Night Reign, which just released. I mean, Splitgate even celebrated recently of hitting 3 million total players. This was back, back on the 11th. So again, just a day after the full release of the game. So people are out there are playing Splitgate. But you know what other game hit 3 million and people considered it a full success? Doom the Dark Ages, and they said that they actually reached that number 7 times faster than Doom Eternal, which apparently had such crazy high numbers on Steam, but failed on with Doom Dark Ages. But apparently they're having success over here too. So I mean, there's so many different ways to measure popularity and success with a game nowadays. So obviously the success between Doom the Dark Ages and Splitgate, two very different types of terms of like what could be considered successful, right? Like with Doom, it's all about like pushing more Game Pass sales and stuff like that, and initial buying of $70 for this game, where Splitgate, being a free-to-play first-person shooter, needs to kind of have a consistent revenue just to kind of catch up with that popularity, and don't have the backing of a $1 trillion company of Microsoft. So I hope this recent layoff news isn't going to be like a sign of the downfall of the popularity of the game, right? I mean, I still hope it hangs out there right around Apex Legends and Overwatch right now on consoles. We see with the popularity out there, which I would assume to be large enough of a sustainable player base. But obviously, this game definitely upped its budget when it came to development. So hopefully, they're able to make their money back in some capacity. Because I really want to see a company like 1047 Games succeed way more than I would want to see like Activision and Call of Duty and Infinity Ward and all that stuff, who just lazily throw the same game together constantly and just make billions because people just buy off of brand recognition and don't give games like Splitgate a full try because it's just different, even though it's clearly a better game, in my opinion, at least. I mean, maybe all that money is going towards their marketing right now, because we've seen recently they've been getting like the big name people in streaming to stream in these competitions like Shroud, Tim the Tatman, XQC, Nadeshot, Scump, just to name a few, and Timmy as well. But also on top of that, like, they've been putting a lot of money. Like I see their ads. They're out there. They put a lot of money in the marketing on this one too. And also, just for example, we can see like how much it costs to be like on Summer Games Fest. Right here it says it ranged from $250,000 for a 1-minute spot to $500,000 for a 2.5 minute long spot. Like a lot of money being spent on Splitgate to be this much of a high profile game. And maybe it's just because I'm banking so much on this kind of marketing to really bring in a huge audience, and maybe they're just not seeing that amount of investment, that return on investment is just not really there. Which this huge push for Splitgate 2 from Splitgate 1 has always been a little concerning just on my end, just as an observer of the whole situation, because even though Splitgate 2 had that huge push, right, where a bunch of Call of Duty players who were fed up with the cheating in Warzone played Splitgate and they really enjoyed it, they got a huge amount of funding for Splitgate 2, and then when it comes out, it doesn't really resonate as much. People, I feel like they might be kind of biting off more than they were expecting to be able to get when it comes to the gamer market, because yeah, Splitgate 1 did pop off back in that like spring or summer of like 2022 or something like that, or 21 or something like that it was. But it didn't really hold its player base super well, which I remember talking with the CEO about Splitgate 2, and they said that player retention, he's obsessed with this. He's like gone into so much research to figure out how do you retain players in a first-person shooter game in the modern day. And then I think that a lot of stuff that we're seeing with Splitgate 2 is a direct call to why Splitgate 2's player base dropped off so much. But I don't know if like that interest was, that solid base of interest is still there for a game like Splitgate, especially since we've been seeing so many arena style or just like first person multiplayer only live service games struggle so much to grab an audience. Not only that, but also maintain it and hold on to it. So is Splitgate done and dying? Well, not really, but this news doesn't really come as a reassurance. But I do honestly want to see this game succeed. I've been keeping up with it. I've been playing it. It's been kind of like my game where I just kind of play where I don't want to play Halo or any kind of live service game, then I'll jump in and play some Splitgate. I'll keep it installed on my PC for sure. But as for myself, as a player, I've been kind of finding myself detaching myself from live service games and focusing more on single player experiences as of recent. But that's just kind of who I am as a player, though. But I really hope for 1047 Games to get success for this game, find a nice middle ground of where they can be sustainable and have the game be popular, because it's a great game. It's a really good first-person shooter. And I think for 2025, they really have a chance to do something special here, especially with the competition not being that crazy, right? The only competition you really have for 2025 now is like the typical Call of Duty release. And because, you know, GTA 6 is not going to be involved with this as well. There's no Halo release. Battlefield 2025 might release this year. We don't know. There's a lot of different factors that can be into play when it comes to the success of a game, but I do really feel like Splitgate has a chance to really capture an audience here, to do something special and get like a sustainable group of people playing, and hopefully just are able to maintain that. But if you guys like this type of video, let me know in the comments. If you guys made it this far, I hope I earned your like, maybe even a subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one. If you guys want to know who the real ones that I made to this end of this video, let's do a yellow heart in the comments. How about that? Something like that. Just let me know who made it to the end here. But thank you guys all for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Catch you on the next one. Peace out.